The president announced a new 50% tariff on.
Over time, we become too dependent on the United States as our biggest customer, with more than 90% of our steel exports going south of the border.
They use tariffs to take our businesses, not only steel, other businesses too.
We must rely more on Canadian steel for Canadian projects.
The price of U.S. steel surged to $900 per ton overnight, a dramatic leap from its $700 level just days earlier. This spike wasn't driven by market speculation. It traced back to a presidential order on June 4, 2025, when steel and aluminum tariffs were abruptly doubled to 50%. Within hours, Canadian suppliers, America's primary source of imported metal, halted nearly all shipments southbound. Detroit's auto factories were the first casualties. Assembly lines ground to a halt. Robotic arms froze mid-task, and night shift workers faced indefinite furloughs. Meanwhile, Canada's industrial heartland roared back to life. The sky above Hamilton glowed orange as dormant furnaces reignited at full capacity. Prime Minister Mark Carney condemned Washington's move as a historic self-inflicted wound, signaling a retaliatory shutdown of cross-border trade channels. The policy, designed to fortify U.S. industry, now threatens to strangle Detroit's lifeline: affordable steel. As America's closest ally reclassifies steel as a strategic resource, rationing exports, critical questions emerge. Who bears the cost when production halts? Will Ottawa, Beijing, or U.S. consumers foot the bill? The domino effect: the tariff decree hit at dawn, fired by midday. Foreign steel arriving at U.S. ports faced a crushing 50% duty, pricing out global competitors instantly. Panic erupted. Futures markets reacted within 24 hours. Benchmark steel prices rocketed to $900 ton, a $150 surge. For automakers, the math was dire. A single pickup truck consumes roughly 1 ton of steel, scaled to Ford's annual output of 1.5 million F-Series trucks. The tariff added $500 plus million in unplanned costs before production even began. Canada's response was swift. 12 million tons of annual exports to the U.S. evaporated overnight, starving Detroit's stamping plants. Carney amplified tensions, threatening export limits on critical minerals while Hamilton's mills pivoted to Asian buyers. Corporate warnings had gone unheeded. Ford's CEO projected a $2.5 billion annual hit from the tariffs, forcing an immediate profit forecast withdrawal. By April, Michigan's unemployment spiked to 5.4%, the nation's highest, as steel shortages idled plants. Desperate U.S. senators crossed into Ottawa, pleading for relief. But Carney offered only stricter export quotas, tightening the vice. Canada transformed crisis into opportunity. Ottawa unveiled a $1 billion fund to replace coal-fed blast furnaces with green hydrogen and electric arc technology. Simultaneously, it imposed steep quotas on non-allied steel imports, locking cheap foreign slab unless buyers paid duties exceeding U.S. rates. Ontario's 93% clean energy grid became its ace, future-proofing mills against the EU's 2026 carbon border tax (CBAM), which penalizes high-emission imports. Hamilton's upgraded furnaces now target European buyers, leaving U.S. automakers stranded. Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Ontario mandated 100% Canadian steel in new pipelines and mineral corridors, excluding U.S. pipe mills from bids. Ottawa then halved import quotas for foreign pipe, slapping a 50% duty on excess volumes. U.S. drillers scrambled as Canadian linopipe vanished from the market, while maintenance crews scavenged dwindling stockpiles. The EU's 2026 carbon border levy looms large. Analysts confirm Canadian steel's low emissions, powered by hydro and nuclear, will skirt EU fees, while U.S. mills, still 63% coal-dependent, face $90 ton penalties. For us families, tariffs already mean $1,300 plus in annual added cost, seriousing a month's groceries. Detroit now faces an impossible choice: pay carbon taxes abroad or 50% duties at home. A policy sold as protection has backfired spectacularly, outsourcing raw materials, paralyzing U.S. factories, and handing Canada control of North America's industrial base. With Europe's carbon gates opening soon, Canadian steel will flow east, tariff-free, while U.S. slabs face double taxation. The clock ticks on Washington's next move: dismantle the tariff wall, or watch Canada and Europe redefine global steel trade without them.